You started off at DePaul playing football for 3 years, and then senior year, you went up to the coach and you said you wanted to focus on media instead. You put together a hype video using clips from teammates and other media, and it ended up getting around 50,000 total views. Was that the moment that really got you hooked on content creation, or had you been experimenting with social media even before that?
Wow. Excellent question, man.
Thank you.
He did his research. First off, playing football is very generous. I was on the football team. I never really had a meaningful snap for the DePaul Tigers, but I cheered really loudly on the sidelines. So it was like the moment. So I had always been into video production, like a little bit, like a fun hobby. I remember as far back as like 2012, my friends and I spent spring break making like a remake to Kung Fu Fighting. Like it's still on YouTube if you know where to look for it. But we like ran around our little town of Bourbon, Indiana, and like jumped over things and did like some goofy parkour stuff. And my friend Joe actually edited the whole thing. I was just the talent at that point. And then from there, I learned more about video editing. And had made some, all right things my freshman and maybe sophomore year of college. And then, my first big break that I would say I was hooked to the idea of like getting views and likes and all that. It was so cool. And like, it was my art form. Like, I'm not good at drawing. I'm not good at painting. I can't sing. I can't really play an instrument or anything like that. But like, this was an art form that I just like meticulously loved every little like, tenth of a centimeter like cut on a thing. Like it was just so cool to me. And so it got me more invested into media throughout DePaul. Like I joined the television station. It was actually a YouTube channel. Like we didn't have like an actual TV station, but like I joined the YouTube channel. It was called D3 TV. I got my own show on that. I edited a lot of sports content. I hosted some stuff but I didn't my career wasn't in like, going to be like a broadcast journalist or anything like that. I always knew like entrepreneurship was kind of like my calling, like working in business, but I had no idea that those two things could intersect at some point.
So then after you have your creative moment at DePaul, you graduate and then totally step into a different environment at Apex Benefits right before COVID. So this is the typical 8 to 5 desk setup. You said that experience helped slow you down at a time where most grads are eager to change the world overnight. How did that shift your perspective on career growth and what success and real business actually looks like?
That was like the ultimate first job. They were so good to me. And I think a lot of times when you're like an ambitious young college student, you think you're going to graduate and tomorrow you're going to be Mark Zuckerberg and you're going to change the world, make $1 billion along the way, because the movie's 2 hours and it's over. And you're like, oh, it's that easy. And it's like, there's just so much work that has to be put in to like build things. And it's a long game. So going there and learning about getting into the office early. And I mean, when I first started, we still wore collars every day. It was like a slower industry of, insurance, like healthcare benefits. Like it was
Sales, right?
Yeah. And I was like setting meetings with people that were 30 years older, maybe more, that like, hey, I can help you with your health insurance. They're like, okay, kid, like you're not even off your parents' health insurance. How are you going to help me? So it was really good. It gave me a lot of guardrails, structure, process. It was awesome. And it just like taught me a little bit of like, keep working forward, but the game is long. Like we're taking the stairs, not the elevator.
And then you make a pivot after 2 years and you join Powder Keg and you called it your MBA on startups.
Yeah.
So as head of community, it's a very unique role, getting to email high-level CEOs because you were bringing them value and the connections that they also wanted. For a student or a recent grad who wants to build the relationships like that and reach out to those people, but they don't feel like they have anything of value to offer yet, what would you tell them knowing what you know now, and how would you network in their situation?
That's a great question. You crushed this so far. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. As someone who interviews people for a living, you're doing a good job. So keep it up. Man, here's the thing. One, it's a numbers game. So like whenever anyone reaches out, especially when they're students, like if you have a cheat code, hey, I'm a student, I'm interested in X, Y, and Z. I don't know what I want to do yet, but like what you do sounds really interesting. I'd love to know what's my cheat code phrase was like, I'd love to know how you got so successful so early in your career. Or like, I'd love to know how you achieved your success in such a short amount of time. Like everyone wants to feel like hyped up a little bit, right? And like, they're like, oh my gosh, I'd love to talk to you. Like I think hosting a podcast is a cheat code.
Yeah.
Because like, it doesn't matter if you have 10 listeners or 10,000 listeners, honestly. Like the average business person, like yes, you're not getting Elon Musk to come on your brand new podcast, but the average business person like wants to feel famous for a day and wants to talk to you. Like that's a cheat code. And I think just like being honest and telling a story. If you're using a generic scripted like BS line, like I want to pick your brain about blah, it's like no. Like send them something that's truly unique that says that you've learned about them and you've been following their journey. And it's like, hey, I've been following you since I saw you post about X. Now it's, 6 months later and I'm still so curious and I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do. I'm a student. Would you give me the time? And I would almost say 100%, maybe 99% of people want to give you the time. Whether they have the time to give or not, like that is TBD. And even if they leave you on red, like it's usually never like, oh my gosh, that's so annoying. It's like, I am just like up to my neck in things right now and I can't make it happen. But like continue to put out more feelers. Like, oh my gosh, I was shooting out so many connection requests when I was 23, 24, 25. Like I'd put out 100 feelers and 60 would get back and say something positive and 20 of them would connect or 20 of them would actually like sit down and get coffee with me. So it's a numbers game and it's not like, don't take offense to it. It's like sales. Like, and the thing is like, they're not like, oh, this kid, darn this kid for reaching out, this high school student, this college student. Like, I can't believe they'd want to better themselves. And I can't believe they'd think I am worthy of like no, it's usually like, dude, I'm so swamped right now. Like, and a lot of them have like families and, they're trying to delegate time and it's such a scarce resource. Like I guess I'd say fortunate in the sense of like, one, I podcast for a living, so I always have time to sit down and talk, right? And two, I don't have a family. Like I don't have like young kids or anything yet. So I still have the time to give back. And so many people were kind to me and gave me time when they didn't need to. But I would say as they start to have like life events, that's like the hardest time. So be mindful of that. But like, don't take it personally. Yeah. Like, oh my gosh, I know so many of like the coolest people, even guests on my podcast that like I had to get introduced in a roundabout way or like didn't answer my first cold email, but like eventually responded. So just stay perseverant.
So send out those LinkedIn connection
requests. Rip them and don't feel bad. Like you're not being annoying. Like it's going to take a minute. Like even today, like I'll reach out to people and yeah, like in my head, it's like, oh, like it's going to be annoying. Like whatever. It's like, no, they want to help. Like I'm a first time founder. A lot of times people want to help me out too. And it just takes a little bit to like make sure you get on the radar.
That's what I do with you.
But when you get the opportunity, I like love what you've done so far is like you're rehearsed. You're like, what you're doing. Like you have a plan versus coming in and being like, so tell me where you grew up.
20 years ago.
Like where's your story? Like there's nothing worse than when you get into the chance and like, then you realize like this person got like all they wanted was like it was like a trophy. Like, oh yeah, I got to sit down with, but you didn't like make it a meaningful experience.
There's no benefit from that. Gotcha. So you said earlier, when you were talking that podcasts were a cheat code, just like we're doing right now, but you actually had a podcast at Powder Keg and it wasn't taken off at first and it wasn't mission critical, but you said you loved doing it. So you started promoting it on your own personal social media and eventually acquired the podcast. Why did you double down on something that wasn't necessarily working at the time?
I'm going to just keep ripping. You have good questions. I just had a feeling that if I kept at it, like good stuff would come. And like, truthfully, I loved it. I love it today. I still love it. Like sitting down and doing this. And I think that I have been blessed with the bug of curiosity. And so sitting down with people that are, different, have different upbringings, maybe from different parts of the world, just like don't think like I do, and asking them questions, I think is just so fascinating. And having a medium, like even if, no one listens, like I still enjoy it. And I enjoy the like true art that gets created in the studio. And I knew that we were getting momentum, and I knew that if I just kept at it, like you think about the biggest podcasters in the world, Joe Rogan has put out closing in or over 25. He's over 2,000 episodes. Over 2,000 episodes. I, in 2 years, have put out 150.
It's crazy, the volume.
So like think about putting 10x, 20 more years if I keep it the same clip to even get close to that. To like be one of the biggest podcasts in the world. I was like, it's just so young. I think that like I was listening to a lot of podcasts, and that's where I consumed a lot of my content. So I just like was willing to take a bet on it. And I knew that even if it was slower growth, like it's slower to get someone to give you an hour of their time. Like we put out 3 episodes a week. Like asking someone for a 3-hour investment, let's say you make $20 an hour, like give me $60 worth of time. Like that's not a small investment for everyone.
Yeah, right. Do you think this isn't even wrote down?
Yeah, good.
Sorry. What's your opinion on students whenever they take the personal like into work, like you like promoting it on your own social, like they get a job straight out of college and now their whole bubble, their whole life is their job. Do you think that's healthy, or do you think there should be a balance with someone early in their career, like going all in but still having, like work-life balance, for example?
No. I am probably the outlier. No, I'm just kind of maybe more old school in the mentality there. It's interesting. And there is a balance, not between like your work and your life, but like, I started a lot of things. And the one thing that I was never really afraid of was like promoting it, and like this is part of my identity. Like I started it with one of my good friends. We started an e-commerce laptop case business, and it totally flopped. But I like launched it on my social media, and we gained a bunch of followers and gave out a bunch of shirts, and it probably like the third or fourth business in, people were like, "Oh yeah, Nate started another business. Like can't wait to see how this fails." And like I knew that I could make it. Like I knew that something would, and I still haven't made it. Like we're getting better at it every day. Like we're trying, but like, I hired employees now, and it's like a real thing, and I do it full time. Like I think that's like a little bit further along than I was 5 years ago. So the advice that I would have is like, while you're young, like kind of dabble, like, the funniest thing, like everyone can kind of see through it. It's like you get the job doing like Cutco or whatever, and all of a sudden like your Instagram becomes like the Cutco guru or whatever, and it's like, okay, this is here today, gone tomorrow. Like, but then like the 1% or like the 3% or the 5% that crush it at Cutco, like do so well. But you always see the people that, like for a month that's their identity, and then it's hard and they give up. Yeah. So I would say, my whole trajectory changed when I went all in on something. Okay. So like, even leading up, like I was putting out podcast clips. I was kind of like going in on Indiana. I was growing. I was doing well. But like when I put my whole reputation and I like went all in on it and said, this is the thing I'm going to build. Like, I'm going to build a media company focused on the state of Indiana. Like people can just sense my conviction and like know that this is my life, that we're building this media company is what it is. And like the work-life balance piece, like when you're really going to go all in on something that's going to pay the bills, like if you're not willing to post about it on your personal social media, and like you're expecting, like, especially in my business, like they're expecting my social media to help them bring in revenue, but yet I'm not willing to post on my own social media about my own thing. Like you see like that, how that's like, that doesn't really, that doesn't really add up. So like, I think when you're ready to go. And like, the thing is, like, you're never like totally ready. Like, you're never ready to stop getting a paycheck. Just so everyone's like pretty clear out there. Like, it's freaking scary. And like, you're never really that ready to hire an employee. Because like, I think the Sunday night before our first employee started, I woke with a cold sweat in the middle of the night. Like, oh my gosh, like I have to make enough money to pay these people's salaries. It's crazy. But like, when you go all in on it and you're willing to make it your life and like put your blood, sweat, and your tears in there, like, people can sense that. Like, people can feel that like, this matters to me, because it matters to other people too. And like, there's no I'm 28. Like, there hasn't really been balance in my life for like 2 or 3 years now, but it's like, we've got our foot on the gas and we're going to keep growing. And like, at some point, like, we'll get to different layers of this and figure out what comes there. But early on, you just have to like punch your foot through the floor and just keep going.
Keep going. It's doubling down. And the mindset of doubling down, even when it's not working, really shows up again later. And we're going to talk about the Indy 500 truck story. So you bought an 86 Dodge Ram.
87. Close though, yeah.
Off Facebook Marketplace for $3,000.
$3,500.
$3,500, and you turned it into a content machine for the Indy 500. You said you're only doing Indiana branded sponsors, right?
Yeah.
So like no big sponsors, and you ended up with about $10,000 in profit from doing that, and around 1 million views.
Yeah,
that's what you said. Where did that idea even originate from?
Dude, from just like catching a few beers with my buddies, honestly. Like, we had always dreamed. It's such a weird niche dream. We dreamed about like buying a $500 truck off of Marketplace and taking it in,
leaving it,
and just leaving it. Like, oh, that's somebody else's problem, not mine. That's Doug Bull's problem, not mine. And that just kind of evolved. I had heard the stories of Larry Basiglia, I think that's what his name is, how he had been the first car in the infield for like 37 years straight. And I was like, that's interesting. Like, that's just like such a niche thing to be like, I was first in line at the Indy 500. So then we gotta just put that all together. And I was like, I don't know. I need to go back and figure it out. But I had like 10,000 followers maybe. Like, I had enough followers that I thought I was cool.
Yeah.
Like, I had enough followers that like, there were people that I didn't know that followed me. And I was like, okay,
I'm the guy.
Let's do this thing. Yeah. And I mean, I think a little bit of like crazy ideas comes from like blind ignorance of just like, yeah, well, we're going to try and we'll figure it out. And like, people just took to it. Like, it like legitimately changed my life. Like, buying this truck off Facebook Marketplace and putting my like stamp behind something. Like, I'm on a mission to be the first truck in the infield of the Indy 500, and we're going to host an all Indiana tailgate. Like, I can still like remember the video. I was just like walking. I had parked my car at work. I was walking in the building, and I was like, I'm gonna rip this, like, because I'm gonna go on this mission. Like, and once I put that video out, I was like, I have to buy a truck. It's like, I have to go do it. Like, we had already been talking about it. We'd been sending a listing back and forth, and I was like, nope, I put that video out. We're gonna go buy this thing tonight. And I drove up to Northern Indiana. We bought the truck. My buddy was like, we're doing this now, right?
We're doing it.
And I could not have done it without Andy and Austin, two of my best friends. They helped me put it all together. I started reaching out. I had a bunch of brands reach out to me. Like, the first early momentum, those brands reached out to me. I had no idea what to sell them. I was selling them like spots on the truck and 3 videos and all these posts and all this content, like blah, 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 like so much stuff. Or they were just giving us like, Daniel's Vineyard gave us stuff, like High and Mighty gave.
You guys were serving coffee, right, and donuts.
We had Java House. We served coffee and donuts to the first 25 people in line. Like, it was just a community thing, and we figured it out on the way, and it was wild, dude. And it definitely changed my life. And at the end of it, it was like I think we gained 10 or 15,000 followers, and we made 10 grand. And I was like, dude, if we can make 10 grand tailgating, like, I can figure out this business.
It's a very creative move, not traditional. But for someone who is listening and just getting started and has no idea what their truck moment could be, how do you think they could find an idea like the truck?
Oh man, the truck came on the back of so many other baby steps of like I'm trying to think of what I was doing at that time from a content perspective. But like so many other videos that I had like learned about, like I'm on a mission. Like anytime that you say like I'm on a mission to be the blah 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 doing XYZ, like people kind of just gravitate towards that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I still will put out mission kind of like I'm on a mission. It's like Mr. Beast kind of like we're on a mission to explore the 7 deadliest places in the world. Like we have this, then that, and then around this, you're gonna see this turn, and like, oh, we did this side quest over here. But like our truck moment came on the back of, I mean, it took me like 112 videos posting to get one over 10K. I'm like 90% sure. I think that number is pretty correct. Like it took me a lot of videos. Like I put out so many podcast clips, so many like man on the street interviews, so much stuff. Like a lot of people see it now and are like, oh, like we had one video that went viral. Like my coffee shop video was the first one. But it's like we gained like, well, I say we at the time, I solo, one person, I gained like, I don't know, 400 or 500 followers maybe from that video. Like it wasn't like an insane life-changing amount, you know? Like, I mean, when I had Joey Molinaro on my podcast, he talked about like, he had to put out so many videos and then he put out one, like his first like college football coach impression. I think it was maybe Nick Saban. And he gained like 15,000 followers in like a day. And it's even that, like you think that changes your life? Like that's a lot, but it's like you can't quit your job on 15,000 followers. Like you got to keep rolling. So I would say it's like, it's the baby steps, like practice the habits, like the habits of creating content, the habits of trying to pull off crazy ideas. Like one of the things I think that helps me is like the craziest guest, like Caitlin Clark would be a sick guest. And that's like, I'm not saying that is like how I speak about it today is not like, oh, wouldn't that be so cool if she came? Like, yeah, that will never. It's like, no, like when she comes on the show, it'll be sick. When Pat McAfee comes on the show, it's going to be sick. When Peyton Manning comes on the show, like they're going to come on at some point. Like whether it's 5 years, 10 years, or 50 years down the road when like they're, you know, old, like, and I'm old, like, I just like believe these big things can happen. And I just like tell them to a lot of people and I put my reputation behind it and I just like work my tail off to make it come to life. And I think that people need to get used to the habits of like doing big things and like these crazy ideas. Like I'm no shortage of crazy ideas. And then it's like, find out how to make it realistic or as close to realistic as possible. And then just like, the saying that always like gets me, a lot of people have told it over the years is like, how do you eat an elephant? It's like one bite at a time. Like, how do you throw the craziest tailgate in the infield of the Indy 500? It's like, well, first you got to have a tailgate, like a legitimate like truck to tailgate out of. And then you like get some beer and you get some food and you get some friends that are willing to say yes and help you out. And then all of a sudden, like, and then you ask like the first person I asked for money. I think it was 4-Day Ray. I asked him for $400 and I'd make a video about them. And I thought it was so much money. And they're like, yeah, can we just Venmo you? And I was like, oh my.
Sure.
And then someone paid me $1,000. And I was like, holy smokes, this is crazy. That was a year ago. That was like 15 months ago. Someone paid me $1,000 to make them 3 videos and have them. And I thought that was the most money I'd ever, like it was crazy.
So say a college student now goes and builds the baby steps, like I say, no, one bite at a time for the elephant. And they get some momentum and now they want to take it further and actually build a personal brand, whether that's sharing stories, lifestyle, or even business content. What are the actual steps that you would take daily to build that momentum into something meaningful, yet also profitable?
We're always working on the profitability piece. Yeah. I asked my accountant, Michael, I hate profit. Ugh. Just at this stage too, it's like, you gotta, like, I have just like been a, follower of Mr. Beast and like that approach of like, I will roll it all back into staff and I'll roll it all back into videos. And like, not so much worried about just like making, you know, $1 million today. And I think that with momentum, the number one thing I see that stunts people's growth, they get 5,000 or 10,000 followers and like everything they post is an affiliate link. Everything they post is, I can teach you how to gain 10,000 followers. Like, dude, it's like, don't be a
So
sellout.
satire.
Don't be a sellout. Like, you got 10,000 followers. Like, knowing what I know now, like getting 10,000 followers is not that crazy. Like, not that hard.
What are the steps that
to
you
get
would
to
do?
10,000?
Yeah.
I find a niche. So like my niche was Indiana. Like there are a lot of local creators too, like Chelsea and Carmel or Michelle in Westfield. And my thing was like, I'm from a small town in Indiana. Like I want to get to the point where I could walk into any dive bar across the state of Indiana and they'd be like, that's Nate and he drinks Coors Light. Like, here's a cold one, buddy. So find your niche, like whether it's a specific place. A lot of times people, when they start on social media, they want to get 1 million followers. They're like, I want to get 1 million followers. Like, and they get so caught up. Like getting to 1 million is just like, it's so hard to chunk that into one bite at a time. But like getting to 500, getting to 1,000, like in your niche is not that bad. Yeah. And then at 1,000, like you kind of start to get processes and you put out 100 videos and like you tweak and you test and you like if you want to get 10,000 followers, you've got to commit to like 12-ish months, maybe a little more of trial, test, post every day. They're like, Nate, do I have to post on Saturdays and Sundays? Post every day. Like change. And this is like, well, I posted 365 videos last year. It was like, yeah, but you probably like batched them, recorded them all, and like you didn't change anything about them. And it's like, and you got the same outcomes every single time. Like you have to change and tweak and like message, but like, so step one, find your niche. Whether that's like raiding tenderloins in Indiana or it's college mascots, like whatever it was supposed to be. You just like make a video content, post it every single day in your niche. And then it starts in like a little pinhole. Like your niche to start is so small. You're like, I'm just looking for 100 people on the internet that care about the state of Indiana. And then you grow it a little bit more. I'm looking for 2,000 people. Actually, I'll even do better. I'm looking for 100 people that care about small towns in Indiana. And then you grow it. I'm looking for 1,000 people that care about hidden gems in Indiana. Then you grow it. I'm looking for 10,000 people that just care about the state of Indiana. I'm looking for 15,000 people that look about road trips or hidden gems or people or businesses. And like you just, every step of the way, you like expand out. But like if you make content for everyone, you're just like pretty host from the beginning because everyone is like you're competing with the biggest accounts on the internet. But like there was nobody making content solely about the state of Indiana. Maybe like, I honestly don't even know. Like when I started, I feel like I kind of like tipped over a domino where like, oh wow, posting about Indiana is sick. Like people really care. And it just like kind of grew from there. So find your niche, post every single day, change like one little piece, like and the other piece that was game changers when I started watching social, I started to consume social media like a creator. So like I would, everyone, a lot of people get caught at like doom scrolling. And I was like, what pulls me in? Like, what was this hook? And I would send it, like I would save it, I would send it somewhere and I'd like watch and I'd like study the film. Like Mr. Beast videos, like the intro is like, it zooms out from like right up to his face to this bigger thing and like start to break down that film to find what makes things go viral and what you need to do, how to make videos that are easy. How, like if you don't have a lot of time, like, oh, I can make one of these pretty quickly, but like this is going to be my masterpiece. I stopped creating like thinking that it had to look so beautiful. And it's like people kind of like reference, like it looks like you're a real person. Yeah. Like not everything that I put out is like so polished and beautiful and like production quality. And you'll see a lot of like highly trained videographers not able to make like viral social media content because they're just like different. Like in the videos that you tell, like the videographers or video producers, like video production people, they can make cinematic masterpieces, but like they'll post them and they won't get 1 million views.
Do you think that's what sets you apart from bigger brands that you worked with where they try to go into marketing and they do these very professional videos and then you approach them saying, hey, I will make this viral? Do you think that approach works?
Yeah, I mean, it was nice because I could try something and fail, and like if it got no views, like nobody knew except me because no one saw it, right? There was no views. But like, let's say you work at the biggest brands in the world even, and you try something and like it fails. Like that's how people lose their jobs. You know, like no one gets fired by making a beautiful video that does the status quo. Like it's the status quo. But like, so you're less encouraged with big brands. You're less encouraged to take risks because if it does, then you're the one who has to like run it up the flagpole of like, hey, we tried this thing and it didn't work and it backfired. And like there are times where people like try some stuff that's a little bit too far out there. But for us, it was like, oh, if I tried it, like I posted a video yesterday, like it's kind of flopping and I thought it was really funny. But like, you know, 7,000 people have seen it. And it's like, well, those 7,000 people have seen that, but like they're not going to remember that video that didn't do well. They're just going to say like, hey, it was forgettable. So like, I get to trial and error this stuff to be like, okay, if we do a video concept like this with this brand, like I have a pretty good feeling that it'll work. And usually like the deals that I signed with the biggest brands give you multiple videos so that I have multiple chances to get something to like really pop. And then that will feed the other ones.
Gotcha. Taking that momentum into your own brand, to Get Indiana, it's more than just content, it's your mission. And you said the goal is to be the #1 media source in the state, not a news outlet, but a platform that shares good stories with Hoosiers. What is the deeper impact of that? Like why pour hours into this every single day, beyond the sponsorships, beyond the brand deals? What drives you to keep building it?
I am an avid, I don't know, disliker. I just don't enjoy people that complain that are not willing to put effort in to like make a difference. And I've been like a firm believer that, you know, you grow where you're planted. And it was like from Bourbon, Indiana to Greencastle, where I went to DePaul, to like I was kind of in Broad Ripple, Indianapolis, and like growing through that. And it's like, well, I've been planted in the state of Indiana. And like I have this ability to, you know, talk to people in small towns and like sit in the big rooms here in Indianapolis. And honestly, sometimes I feel like I gravitate more towards the small towns. The opportunity in Indianapolis was just like right for me. And like, I've just never been a fan of just complaining. Like, dude, is Indiana perfect? Like, no, far from it. But like, I'm trying to do my best to make this the best place possible for me and, you know, my family, my friends, and anyone, right? Like, I want this to be a place where you can find what you love. And I think too many times people just like complain, like, oh, Indiana's boring. Or so. It's like, it's not boring. You're just like not willing to be creative, or you're not willing to like try something new. Like, if you're expecting to like be in Denver, look up in the mountains and be like, yep, I know where I'm supposed to do. Like, that's what be in Florida. Like, look at the beach. Like, yep, that's what I'm supposed to do. Like, we don't have that. But if I go out there and uncover all these things and like share them and make it so easy, you're doom scrolling, you see my video, it's like, oh, you know, he ran the whole Monon Trail. Maybe I could run a 5K. He went and explored this lake in southern Indiana. Like, maybe I should go to the lake. And I just like, I'm kind of like their guide. Like, hey, try these 2 things. And if you literally watched all the videos and like went to all the places, like I'm a lot of things. Bored is never one of them. Because like there's always something to do. And like, is everything like life changing, earth shattering? Like oh my gosh, every weekend was a movie, dude. Like, no, but it's fun and it's interesting, and I'm not bored. And so like, I think that the reason that we put so much time, the reason that I'm building this, like the critical thing is like, no one that finds my profile should be able to look at it and be like, yeah, Indiana's boring. It's like, no, it's not. Just like, get off your butt and go do something.
20 years down the road, is it still just in Indiana, or you get Kentucky?
That's such a great question. And the answer is I truthfully don't know. I kind of waffle back and forth. Like, some days it's like, yes, we should take this to every underrepresented state that like people overlook and fly over and like build this momentum. And the other times, like, I should just build like, you know, 1,000 businesses here in Indiana that's like coffee shops, and help like reinvigorate small town main streets and like do that kind of. So I'm like, I go back and forth. In the short term, what I can commit to is that like we are 100% all in on Indiana, making great Indiana content, building a meaningful business that impacts Hoosiers every single day. And and really just helping not only unite Hoosiers through our content, but like put Indiana on a national scale.
To close things out, I want to take a zoom out, and you've been through the corporate world, been through the startup world, you've launched multiple ventures with the laptops or the bat hats, and looking back on your own personal and business journey, what are the harsh truths that students, recent grads, or anyone ambitious should hear if they want to build something meaningful like you have? Because it's not all sunshine and rainbows, but what do they really need to be ready for coming out of school?
How long do you have? I think the biggest thing that has like changed my mentality is like, if you're doing what everyone else is doing, like you're gonna get the same outcomes. Mm-hmm. Like I am, and like my friends, my family, I'm crazy. Like I can get into the office at 7 and I can stay till 11 p.m. Like, because I just am so motivated by like making an impact. And like people will be like, that's unhealthy, you shouldn't do that. I believe that like I was like early, maybe not early on in my career, but like especially when I got to powder keg, like I wanted to be into the office before everyone else. And like some days I would, like most days, I feel like I would leave like with everyone else at the end or like later. Like there's just something about being like, I don't claim to be like the smartest person in any room. I'm probably not the most creative person in any room. I'm not the best looking, the tallest, but I will work as hard or harder than like everyone in every room. And I'm just like willing to suffer more, and I'm willing to give up more, and I'm willing to like figure it out. And I think that that's the harsh reality. If you want to advance your career, if you want to build a business, like a lot of what will set you apart is just like working really hard for a really extended period of time. And like, again, like we've had businesses that like did all right. We've had businesses that failed, like totally fell flat on their face. I've like had ideas. I've had video concepts. I've tried so many things that I'm just like not really afraid. Because there's gonna be failures. Mm-hmm. And I know that just because an idea may flop, or just because like it doesn't go the way I thought it was, like Nate Spangle's not a failure. Like I have bad ideas all the time. Like we put bad creations out into the world, and like the algorithm tells us that it was bad. And I look at it and I'm like, well, that sucks. Like let's change and do something different. And so I think that a lot of people think, especially when you go from elementary school to high school to college, it's like this pathway. Mm-hmm. And then maybe you get into a rotational program, or you like get your first job, or you go to grad school. And it's like all these steps that are guardrails. And people say, you're supposed to do this. If you want to be successful, like look at what the successful people are doing and like take those steps. And then at some point you graduate and you get your first job, and you're like, well, this is forever now. And like it is forever unless you're willing to do something to change it. And like, that's why I would just never survive in big corporate America, is because like it's 2 years, get your first promotion, 5 years, go to get your MBA, 10 years, you manage people. Like that's just like not the structure for me. Yeah. But like what people need to know, if you want to build something that's meaningful, be willing to sacrifice. Whether it's like, there's been Friday nights. Like there was a Friday night this past January. Like my friends go out and do something, and I am at Katewe Run Park filming a video on a Friday night in January, riding a inner tube down a sledding hill, like in the middle of Hamilton County or whatever. And it's like that video ends up getting 650,000 views and like does really, really well. And it's like, well, if I wasn't willing to sacrifice a Friday night, then like I might not have made that video. Mm-hmm. So, just different things like that, where you don't have to be the smartest. You don't have to like have all these things. Like my dad didn't play golf with the mayor of Carmel. Like I did not have a lot of things like handed out to me. But I was just willing to like put my head down and like run through a brick wall over and over and over and over again until it busted open.